So what happens if the US government decide to go for this and yeah, go YOLO? What happens? Like, do other nations like just start doing it as a response?
Of course, absolutely. When the U.S. leads, the world follows. I mean, this is the environment we live in. We are very good at finding where the puck is going and skating to where the puck is going. And then when other people see that we are skating to where the puck is going, they want to compete with us. They want to match us. They want to go there with us. So if we as a country say Bitcoin is the future, others are going to follow us just by the very nature of the United States doing this. And I know I'm not trying to speak about it like it's some sort of ego thing. Like I just talked to some folks in another country. I just got off another line with them, and they were saying our media market, they just copy you guys. They don't even come up with their own stories. They just see what's going on in the New York Times, and they literally just copy and paste it into our media market. The United States is in a leadership position. I think we should show leadership on Bitcoin. I think that the world will benefit if we show leadership on Bitcoin, because ultimately Bitcoin has so many great things that it can add to the world. It can help us bank the unbanked. It can be a financially inclusive tool for people all across the world. The 2 billion people that are currently unbanked right now, one of them could be the next Einstein, but we will never know because that person was never able to buy their first textbook. They were never able to save up for university. So Bitcoin is a powerful tool for lifting people up in places where there is no opportunity. We already talked about how Bitcoin mining has so many energy benefits, but this tool, and Bitcoin really is a tool. This is a very, very powerful tool. We are only just beginning to understand how powerful it is. Oops.
Oh.
Let me reset my camera.
Lost
I'm
it.
sure you can edit that.
Yeah.
It's because the camera got too hot. I left the heater on in my room and it overheats sometimes.
That's right.
You might want to give it a second to see if it stays on. Yeah, see, it's going to go off again. 1 second. Let it cool off. It takes like 30 seconds.
Yeah, no problem. Where were we? Mining. Tether.
Let me see. Give it a second. See if it's happy now. Okay. Yeah, it seems good.
Awesome. So, do we risk making Bhutan the richest country on planet Earth?
We're going to have a lot more Bitcoin than Bhutan. I mean, at the end of the day, the United States, we have more Bitcoin holders than anywhere in the world. Our people hold more Bitcoin than any country in the world. So if we want to make our country rich, we can buy Bitcoin in our own country. People in our own country will become extremely wealthy. And also, I don't think Bhutan is going to get to 1 million Bitcoin anytime soon. We currently sit on 210,000 Bitcoin. Just by saying to the U.S. Marshals, let's keep that Bitcoin. Let's not move it up for auction. Let's end the auction. Let's put it into the U.S. Treasury. That's a huge jumpstart on our path towards getting to 1 million Bitcoin. But I don't think Bhutan will come anywhere close to getting a million Bitcoin anytime soon.
Would that require an act of Congress?
It just really depends on where the political philosophy comes from. I think most people believe that you need legislation. I certainly believe even if there was an executive order, some people are pushing an executive order. If there was an executive order, that the next incoming president could very likely just strike down that executive order. So if Trump tries to create a strategic reserve with an executive order, even if he does that, I still believe that we need to have legislation passed in order to solidify a strategic Bitcoin reserve.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So can you've said a lot on Twitter about different countries and you're getting calls from all around the world. Can you give us some hints as to the types of governments that you've been speaking to?
I can tell you that they are in multiple continents, that we have conversations happening in Latin America, and we have conversations happening in Europe. There is likely to be a third continent that is going to start conversations and negotiations around this policy vertical. That's all I can share for now.
So how does it work legislatively, and who then, like, who gets the seed phrase, like who gets the keys to the wallet? Does that belong to the state or nation? And how do they go about making these large purchases? Like, how are they gonna how are they gonna do it? Are they gonna convert it all into USDC, or buy some other coin and then purchase it with like one single wallet? Like how would a state or nation actually go about doing this?
I mean, there's a variety of different approaches you can take, just like with the nuclear codes and the little nuclear, you've seen those videos of the nuclear submarines, they turn the keys at the same time.
Yeah.
You can do the same thing with Bitcoin. You can have multiple keys that both need to be plugged in and turned at the same time. It's called multi-sig. I certainly think that's going to be a great government solution. The great part is I don't have to figure this out. There are so many innovative and brilliant people in the space figuring this all out right now. They're talking to me. They're calling me. They're saying, we figured it out. We have the solution for governments. I love it. I don't have to figure that out. I'm not a tech person. I've done my due diligence. I read Mastering Bitcoin enough times to make the book fall apart, to understand that how Bitcoin works. And it's why I became such a big believer in 2017. It was the first book that I really read. And so I understood the beautiful, simple design around Bitcoin. However, I am not going to be the one building these solutions for anyone. There are many people in the space actively working and approaching governments with their potential solutions.
So you mentioned it being like a global reserve currency, or like the neutral monetary system. Do you think it's possible for it to become non-monopolized by the largest powers? Like you theorized earlier about like a world in which Saudi Arabia or Russia, China might collude to like suppress the price of Bitcoin. Does it risk becoming monopolized by one superpower?
No, I don't think so. Bitcoin is totally permissionless. And the greatest thing about Bitcoin is over the last 15 years of Bitcoin's existence, we've had this great opportunity where people across the world and individuals have been able to buy Bitcoin and have been able to decentralize the supply. Governments are just getting into the game. They're like the last adopters. There's not much Bitcoin left to buy. Also, additionally, it's important to remember that owning supply doesn't mean you control Bitcoin. You just own the Bitcoin. You don't control what happens to the network. You don't decide which direction we go with how the code is designed. That's all done by the users. This is one of the most important things about Bitcoin. The users are in control, and the users decide which path they want to go down. If you want to run your own node, you can run whatever software you want. I can't tell you what to run. This is also why it's super important for us to fight for decentralization. Fighting for decentralization for Bitcoin is one of the most important fights that we can possibly fight. And it's why, I was a very big supporter of the small blocks during the block size wars. I don't think we should increase the blocks now. Maybe sometime in the future, my perception will change. I don't think we have any reason to need to change the blocks. Keep them small, keep Bitcoin decentralized, because if you keep it decentralized, you keep the blocks small. That means that the block sizes are smaller. That means the data is smaller that you save onto your node. That means that more people across the planet can run a node. If you make the blocks big, you put in more data, the block size gets really big, the data on the block chain gets very large, and you can't store all the data on a small node. You have to get a very big node. You have to get a node that's so big, most people won't even be able to afford it. And so nobody will be able to run their own node. Nobody will be able to make their own decisions. This is why it's so important that we fight for decentralization, because yes, if we didn't fight for decentralization, some large government or entity could come along and co-opt it. This is not going to happen with Bitcoin. I think we went through this. We've already went through this war once and won. I think if we went through it again, we'd win again.
So do you think anyone has solved like the L2 problem? Basically, like the cost of transacting, like if it's to become the reserve currency. I mean,
Lightning is a great solution. I don't think it's not the solution for everything, but Lightning is a layer 2. It's been active almost the entire time that I've been in Bitcoin. I found Bitcoin in 2017. It's been in the works and in development, and now it's out in the market. I think it's done great things for Bitcoin. I was just in El Salvador. I was buying beer. I was buying lunch. All on the Lightning Network. Zero problems. I think it works great. I don't think there are people that say it can't scale globally. That's fine. At the end of the day, the great thing about Bitcoin is so valuable and people are so interested in unlocking it that they will innovate a way forward for us to be able to achieve what we need to achieve. I don't have the answer to the perfect Bitcoin solution 20, 30 years from now when everybody's on Bitcoin, what we're going to do. But I think Lightning is certainly a great tool for the meantime for us to be able to transact. You can buy Bitcoin. You can buy anything with Bitcoin for fractions of a penny, and instantly. It's an instant transfer of Bitcoin. So it's a great solution for now.
Why Bitcoin over? Why are you not being like, we need a strategic Cardano reserve or a strategic XRP reserve? Like, what makes it different for the people who don't perhaps see the difference?
So this is Bitcoin's use case. This is why Bitcoin exists. Bitcoin is the perfect savings technology. It is perfectly scarce. 21 million. There will never be more. It is the best sound money we've ever had. It is the best money we've ever had in human history from a savings perspective and from locking in our value and being able to project that forward in time. Gold did a great job up until now, but gold also failed because it was not transportable. It's very expensive to transport. It's very heavy. It's very expensive to even store gold. It's incredibly expensive to store gold. It's nearly free to store Bitcoin. It's nearly free to send Bitcoin. Gold is not digital, can't be digital. Bitcoin is 100% digital. It's built for the modern economy. I certainly believe that Bitcoin, one of its perfect use cases, at least, is being a reserve currency or a reserve asset. So there's really no. This is the funny part. Normally, you have other crypto people arguing, "Oh, well, we can do that better," or this is a better use case for Cardano or for Ripple. No, they're not even arguing because there's no argument. Bitcoin is the only reserve currency. There is no second best.
Yeah, I mean, it seems inevitable the governments are going to start jumping in. I'm very excited to see whether the US decide to go for it. For my wallet as well, will be very nice. I'm sure when everyone starts jumping in. So I wanted to go back just a minute to where was it? So BRICS are planning potentially some sort of challenging currency to the US dollar. That's their payment system, to the SWIFT payment system. And there've been talk about like a gold backed currency to have some sort of hard money that they can utilize maybe between all of them. I don't know how on earth this is going to work. This is just the things that people say. When you say it out loud, it sounds a little more ridiculous actually than when you read it. But do you think that Bitcoin could be the thing that backs the US dollar in the future, or would it be a Bitcoin / gold standard, or is this just like a strategic reserve in that they just sort of hold it on their balance sheet, but it's nothing like linked to the dollar?
It just really depends on. There's a number of factors that could change the future. I think certainly Bitcoin is a great asset if you wanted to use it to back currency. Some people have theorized that even BRICS may use Bitcoin as a way to back a future currency. I don't think they're talking about that right now at BRICS, but it is a better solution, in my opinion, than something like gold. When it comes to the United States, I don't think we need to or could, in the short term, back the US dollar with Bitcoin. But what Bitcoin will do is it will act as a check and balance against runaway monetary inflation and debasement. Because every time that you debase the currency, the US currency, you're going to see an opposite effect with Bitcoin, where Bitcoin goes up in value. Bitcoin is perfectly scarce, and the US dollar is extremely flexible. So if you abuse the flexibility, which is it's a great thing to have, flexibility. The problem is human beings have had money for 10,000 years, and all 10,000 years, whenever money became flexible and easy to be flexible, we've abused the power. So we can't resist you abusing the power of the flexible currency. But I think Bitcoin, what it can do is it can act as a check and balance on that abuse of power. And so that's, I think, where Bitcoin fits in nicely with a dollar future.
Can the US government just buy Bitcoin their way out of a deficit?
Do you run a business of any kind? Do you want 25% off up to 20 taxi rides? Well, if you sign up to Bulk Business with my promo code, that's exactly what you'll get. You don't have to use all 20 rides, and you can use it for your own business rides or for your employees. It couldn't be simpler. Follow the link in the description and use the code BB25OFF20 to get 25% off 20 taxi rides today. That's BB25OFF20.
Hey everyone, thanks for making it right the way to the end of the podcast. I love that you tuned in this long. Do me a favor, hit subscribe, because 80% of you bastards are not subscribing, but you're watching my videos. See you next time.